The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
C.D. Lamb, touchdown. End zone, Jake Ferguson. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, and Kyle Youmans.
It's an off-season edition of Talkin Cowboys presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, live from the Star in Frisco, Texas, in the SWBC studios. Welcome in, everybody. We've got Patrik "No-See" Walker, Josh Rodriguez, Chris Beam in the back. I'm Kyle Youmans, filling in for Isaiah Stanback. We've got the one, the only Tommy Yarrish of DallasCowboys.com.
Oh, brother.
Oh, brother. Where's the drop, Beam?
What happened to warm welcome? Even before we get on the show, I'm getting
There's no
yelled
welcome. You're already a part of the
He
show.
was yelling at me in my ear. He's yelling at me.
I didn't yell at you.
Yes, you did.
I did.
You're part of the show
That's
already,
unbelievable.
man.
Let's
He
just
comes
fast forward
in
to the draft
immediately
show.
trying to up in the whole rundown.
No, I
trying
did
to
not.
talk draft.
No, I
It's like,
did
dude,
not.
there's a whole show for
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
About a minute and a half.
We've
later.
got an hour until that show starts, so we'll be okay.
Well, we was talking about something completely separate. but
I know.
You didn't
I know.
understand.
We are going to put together some cool draft blog content today, though.
Let's go.
So that'll be
DallasCowboys.com.
Yep,
Look out
that'll-
for it.
.com. No, Isaiah.
I can't hit that note.
Sure, you can.
No, I can't.
Yeah, you're sitting in the chair. You got to hit the
Yes, it
SWBC studio.
Studios.
And then
That
you
chair
gotta hit
comes
the
with
.com.
expectation.
Someone said Isaiah looks pale.
Just a little bit.
It is winter.
Sorry,
time.
guys.
Just to that guy.
Need to tan a little bit.
Shouts out to that guy. Appreciate you all joining us here. We
gotta love the chat.
Yeah,
chat.
I love the
man.
chat.
The family.
Good morning, family.
Good morning,
Yeah.
family.
Hope everybody's
Guys
doing
and
okay.
gals.
Wonderful to see you.
Everybody have a good, safe holiday weekend.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes. Excellent.
Absolutely.
Good.
It was good. Good, calming. Spend time with the family.
Good.
So, yeah. Decompress for a little bit. Detach for a little bit.
Didn't have the stresses of NFL playoff football
Listen,
divisional
my
round this
hate
week.
watch was utterly successful. Okay.
Yeah?
It's just
Tell me about it. How was your hate
magnificent.
watch?
I mean, well, last week, obviously, the Eagles went down, and then so then up next was seeing the San Francisco 49ers hopefully lose. Not only did they lose,
They got washed.
Oh,
brother.
What was left of the San Francisco 49ers?
they got taken out.
Fair?
Have you ever seen that many injuries in one particular playoff game?
Goodness, that was horrible.
I mean, it was like every other play there was somebody leaving.
But that's been their whole
it
season.
really has.
I really want you to scan my face.
Let's see how much
See if you
care.
can find any F's
do we
that I give, because I do not.
I'm scanning and I do not see
do
it.
we buy into the power plant theory?
Okay, so I was going to bring that up. Is that a
Please.
real thing?
Yes, that's a real thing.
So there's a power plant that's next to or nearby the San Francisco 49ers training facility and headquarters, as is the Star in Frisco, is close to the Comerica Center and the Frisco Rough Riders and IKEA. It is close to
IKEA.
Yeah, IKEA's over there. That's a staple. Then you go to the opposite side and you've got San Francisco. It's close to this power plant that apparently is putting off too much radiation.
I don't know what it is. Look, I'm not a scientist. That's
I'm not
Well,
either.
if
but-
Chernobyl and The Simpsons have taught us anything, it's that radiation is not great for human beings.
That's pretty good analysis. But like you can see sometimes they take videos of practice to 49ers beat writers or whoever it is, and you can see it in the background. And
It's like that close.
I don't know. Maybe this is too much scientific theory. And I mean, I'm sure they've been practicing there for
Dude,
Well, when Brock Purdy has a third eye next year, we're going to be real entertained.
Joanne Jennings has 4 legs and he's just galloping around.
So the USA
49ers
Today,
receivers need 4 legs because they keep tearing ACLs.
Yeah, that's true.
One or two.
Brutal.
the USA Today published an article about it. So I mean, there's legs to the rumor, right? I mean, there's
Several of them.
yeah, maybe multiple legs there that might be running in the right direction, but it's a conspiracy theory, and I think that's really all it is. But that is pretty wild.
I don't know. I could see it being a thing. I mean, just like the power line, there's not even a theory.
Let's say they have scientific. You're a big science guy. Let's say they have scientific evidence that this is the case. How quickly would they build a new headquarters elsewhere?
My thing
Tomorrow.
is, if
It would have to start immediately, right?
Tomorrow.
It would bring those Olympic construction workers and
See, then the question
work
becomes
nonstop for
if
several
you're using the
months at
word
a time.
controversy, then the question becomes: you're saying if those findings became public, you're not going to tell me that a multi-billion-dollar stadium was built within this proximity of a power plant and no studies were done prior? Like nobody thought twice.
Oh,
about
like
it at
people
all?
think twice before doing things that are capital gains?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So somebody knew something, but at the end of the day, it's a San Francisco problem. Hope they get that figured out. Actually,
Mel,
what it
you know,
is.
when I think
Hey, we got to play there.
when I
You know
think
what I'm saying?
about designing
Get in.
stadiums and
play and leave.
my expansive knowledge in designing buildings, I typically, when I'm scanning the terrain, a nuclear power plant is
Exactly.
the first
That's
thing
what
that
I'm
I'm
saying.
looking for,
Yeah.
right? Just prime positions.
Maybe cheap real estate. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why they did it.
that might be it.
Cheap for a reason.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Melvin said they've practiced by a power plant for like 30 years. I don't
Yeah,
know
that's
when they
my-
built the facility, but they haven't won a Super Bowl in 30 years.
years.
So
That's my
I'm
point.
just
is
saying.
I feel like they've been
But
there
now,
for forever.
okay, so
but-
devil's advocate, I'll say it so no one in the family has to. Neither has the Cowboys,
Yeah, just go ahead and say
and
it.
there's no power plant here.
No, that's just pure bad luck.
No, we just do oil.
yeah, that's pretty
So-
big. Right? That's
We
pretty
just do
big.
oil
around
and
here.
natural gas here in the great state of Texas.
Yeah.
So yeah, but my hate watch was fantastic, and down to, and sorry Miami fans, but I'm not a Carson Beck fan. Everyone could know why. I don't need to get into that, but Carson Beck.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs, can't say it.
Carson Beck ended his career. Go Dogs.
Wow. Against
On a
the-
loss.
On an
pick.
interception.
Yeah.
That was so on brand. So on brand.
really-
Shouts out to Indiana, man. Indiana, I mean, just what they've been able to achieve is unbelievable. And I honestly say this objectively, even if my Dogs had advanced, no one was beating Indiana this year.
They were
no one.
That's the
next
best
level.
the best turnaround of a program in football history.
Yeah.
That's
I don't think you
unbelievable.
could
They're just
argue that.
structurally sound, physically sound. I mean, just all the above. The best team in college football.
100%.
16-0, Heisman Trophy winner.
Just unbelievable.
There
no
are
kinks
pictures
in the armor.
There are pictures of their season opener 2 years ago in August, and there was like 4,500 people in the stands. And now they're national champions. You see the riots, and not the riots, but like the celebration
Yeah.
and things like that.
They're right in
Right. In Indiana. Jesus,
In
Kyle.
Bloomington, it got a little crazy last night. So,
right in Bloomington.
but if you've been out there, what they had
Had to
last
grease
night
those stop signs, buddy.
was a riot. There's not a lot. There's not a lot going on in Bloomington, Indiana.
Stop sign.
Grease those
What's
stop
going to
signs.
happen if you get to the top of the stop sign? Ouch.
What if you hurt your ankle on the way down, dude?
That's the highest elevation in Indiana, dude.
Yeah,
that's
stop
what they
sign.
got.
It's fair.
But
Good for them.
I'm sure they did it with more class than Philadelphia. I mean, everyone does.
yeah, that's true. That's easy.
Someone says best championship money can buy. Shouts to Melvin. You said it, buddy.
Money.
Welcome to
Indiana
college
doesn't even
football.
have any money. Not the same that it has that the teams that they beat along.
Hey, Melvin, shout out.
Indiana just has a bunch of 30-year-olds.
They're all
that
from
are running
JMU.
around.
They played at James Madison.
Yeah.
If anything, that should show that like group of 5 teams aren't as far off from those Power 4 teams as you
I'm just
say.
joking.
Say
Power.
that.
What a fun weekend of
saying.
I see
football.
what you did.
Was
there.
fun.
Power.
Power. Nah, that wasn't on purpose.
okay.
Let's get into news
Let's
and
make
notes.
it on purpose.
Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys a little bit. When
Make
we
it
talk about the coordinator search, that's always got to be number one.
Yep, it's expanded a bit since last we met here on this great panel called Talkin Cowboys. So we'll work it from back to forward. So we'll talk about who we knew about, who we spoke about, and then we'll go into who's new as far as the candidacy is concerned. So we know that the Cowboys have interviewed Ephraim Banda, Browns safeties coach, Durante Jones, Vikings defensive pass game coordinator,
him.
Jim Leonard, a lot of people
I
like
like
this
him.
guy, Broncos defensive pass game coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, currently a free agent, Aaron Wycotton, incumbent Cowboys defensive line coach, Zach Orr, Ravens defensive coordinator. Now, these next three guys are new to the fold as far as most recently interviewed. So Christian Parker, Eagles pass game coordinator / defensive backs coach, interviewed. We'll talk about him in a moment. DeMarcus Covington, Packers run game coordinator and defensive line coach, also spoke with the Cowboys. And Charlie Bullen, Giants interim defensive coordinator, he also spoke with them. Now, key. Jeff Ulbrich, the Cowboys were initially denied an interview by the Atlanta Falcons for speaking with Jeff Ulbrich. Cowboys were hoping to circle back there In the event that whomever became the new head coach, now we know it's Kevin Stefanski, was going to move on from Ulbrich. As it turns out, they are not going to move on from him. So they still look at the Cowboys and say, no soup for you. So the Cowboys will not speak with Jeff Ulbrich. But Charlie Bullen, DeMarcus Covington, Christian Parker, add those three to the list of interviewed candidates or soon-to-be interviewed candidates. And then we have others that might get a look. We'll see. Cowboys fans are asking for a Q&A with Sean McDermott, for example. So some new names are out there that Cowboys haven't spoken with yet.
I would be shocked if Sean McDermott was the interview, only because I think he'll be a head coach next. I think he'll be a head coach again. I don't.
Where?
That was the most surprising coaching move.
I don't know.
Say it with your chest, Tom.
Well, it'll be some. I mean, you've got 6 openings left in the NFL. This is an unprecedented offseason in terms of the amount. Just a pure.
It was 10
number.
total, right?
Yeah, 10 total, and I think we filled 4
Crazy.
with Robert Saleh being hired by the Titans last night. I think the interesting part about this search is that now we're kind of getting into the second phase of it in terms of guys coming in for second in-person interviews. Some interviews may have already been in person. I think, Patrick, you reported last week that Zach Orr might have been here. It makes sense. He's from the area, North Texas guy, went to UNT.
Hey, go Mean Green.
Yeah, thank you.
But their next game, by the way, is
DeSoto
against Indiana,
product.
just so you know.
Oh, good luck.
We open at Indiana
Good
next
luck,
year.
man. Good luck.
Go Mean Green. Get after it, y'all. Better ramp up, Neil Brown.
Undefeated season on the way, baby.
Just keep it to within 50. But some guys that have interviewed or will be coming in for in-person interviews, Durante Jones, the Vikings pass game coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, the former Cardinals head coach, and then the Eagles pass game coordinator and DB's coach, Christian Parker. I'll tell you what, I think I'm really impressed by Christian Parker's resume.
Yep.
I think he's done a fantastic job over
Tell
the
us about
last
his
few
resume.
years. Yeah, started out in Denver and was the DB's coach in Denver, and started when they drafted Pat Surtain, led him to 3 straight Pro Bowls before he went to the Eagles, and then he's done an excellent job there developing Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, both of those guys all pros this year in his second year with the team. So he has a knack for developing the defensive backfield, and when you think about this Cowboys defense, obviously the secondary, much like every unit on their defense, was a massive struggle this year, but they feel like they have guys in place there in Savone Revel. Jaquez Bridges is a guy they're high on. Who knows if that's going to be the case for 2026? Do they go first round with a draft at corner? But they want to develop these young defensive backs that they've got back there. And I think Christian Parker has an incredible resume, maybe the best resume in terms of the developing of defensive backs of all the candidates that have been interviewed so far. So consider me a fan of Christian Parker, and we'll see how the rest of this goes. But those 3 names kind of just naturally, because they're coming in for those second interviews. We talked to Stephen Jones last week, and he was telling us about that they're starting to get into that process too. Those names kind of rise a little bit more to the top in terms of, okay, these are more probable hires in terms of maybe guys that have only been interviewed once.
And just again on Leonard, to reiterate, we can't have an in-person interview with him until the Broncos season is over.
Broncos need to lose first before they can speak to him.
Does that hinder your thought process on how Dallas could attack this? Because it's allowing all these other head coaching vacancies to shore up now, right? The head coaching vacancy started with 9. They filled a couple. Now there's a couple more. You got Buffalo that's open now.
Crazy.
So by the time a lot of these head coaches are hired, everybody's caught back up, and Dallas doesn't necessarily get a head start on talking to guys like Leonard and talking to guys like anybody on that list, really, because there are now 9 or 10 other teams that are trying to do the same. Green Bay's got to hire a defensive coordinator now. So all of that to be said, does that hinder it now that you're waiting on a possibility to try and hire a guy like Leonard?
I don't know that it hinders it. I mean, you're seeing these guys get, interviews from multiple teams, and rightfully so. Sure. Like Christian Parker, when you talk about these guys, and Leonard, he's right there in the mix with several teams as well. But I think when you look at a guy like Jim Leonard, for example, since that's the one we're talking about, I think that based on what he's been able to accomplish, I think that if push comes to absolute shove and you finally have the come to Christ moment and you're like, Jim Leonard's our guy, we just haven't been able to get him in office just yet, but maybe you've had a couple of Zoom calls, you have his resume, you've had him speak with several of the coaches already. I think you pull the trigger there, if that's your guy, right? So I say that to say, Kyle, I don't think that this hinders the process. And keep in mind, we being the NFL, still have 6 coaching vacancies, head coaching vacancies to fill out. So that's going to take a few more days. Now they're starting to kind of trickle in. Robert Saleh to the Titans, Kevin Stefanski over the weekend, obviously John Harbaugh to the Giants. But there's still, Pittsburgh Pittsburgh and several other teams out there as well. So there's a lot of sorting to be done at the NFL level from head coaching downward through the coordinator. So I think the Cowboys have a little bit of time to get this sorted out. But again, if they absolutely feel, after speaking with all of these candidates, that Jim Leonhard is their guy, but they haven't been able to speak with him in person yet, I say pull the trigger. I say don't wait for that.
One thing that I loved from Nick Harris over the weekend, he kind of like laid it all out on Twitter. Just check him out on Twitter. Of course, you probably already follow him. But I think it's safe to say that this is by far the most expansive search for a defensive coordinator in franchise history. We're looking at 9 coordinator interviews so far, plus 3 that are in their second round. And in the past, you've had upwards of 3 to 4. So this is quite a difference.
Shoddy's not kidding around.
This feels like a shoddy move.
Oh, it is.
To be able to widen the search, be expansive about it, and really make sure you're picking the right guy.
And also look at the age range.
Yeah.
That's further evidence that this is a Brian Schottenheimer.
Yeah, not all of them have been head coaches.
That was my point.
We talked about
the experience level is different. The age group is different. The schematics of it all are all different.
Very clearly, Brian Schottenheimer.
And in terms of the wait and like, okay, are we going to wait for Jim Leonhard? I don't think the Cowboys are the only team that are waiting for Jim Leonhard.
That's
I
fair.
think the Packers are another team that if they get a chance to get him after this week, because I'm sorry, but it probably will be after this week, then I think that makes you feel a little bit better maybe about waiting, because you just kind of think, okay, if this guy's at the top of the list for several teams, maybe some of the other guys that we still like, but maybe not like as much as Jim Leonhard, are going to be around because they're not going to get scooped up. But then again, you think about the fact that you have 6 head coaching openings, and that doesn't mean there's going to be 6 defensive coordinator openings as well. But there are other defensive coordinator openings just from natural firings and such around the league as well. The Packers being one of those teams. So, but in terms of it being an expansive net, it needed to be, frankly. Like this could not be we know who our guy is going in to the interview process.
I mean, how long did Eberflus take? Like a few days?
It was pretty clear when Brian Schottenheimer was hired that that's the direction they were going to go.
Right,
Yeah.
which is
And
why I
it was
have
only
to
a matter of
combat
time.
Melvin. Now, Josh got you early. I got to get you now. Melvin says study long, study wrong. Well, the problem is they didn't study at all last time. So I don't begrudge them for actually studying for a good period of time with so many worthy candidates. So, yeah.
What's the definition of insanity?
Repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
I don't know how you could go into a decision this massive
And not study.
and not give it any sort of extra thought.
No stone left
I
unturned,
mean,
buddy.
you had one of the top 3 offenses in the NFL with a franchise quarterback that is on the back half of his career. Whether you look at the age or the play or whatever it is, he's still playing at a prime level, but he is going into his age 33 season. The fact of the matter is, this defensive coordinator hire is going to determine whether your window stays open or it's slammed shut. That's what this defensive coordinator hire is. So to put in a little extra effort, to put in a little extra due diligence to interview the right candidates and to find the right person, I would rather that than to say, yeah, we like this guy and let's just go ahead and handpick it and leave.
I'm with it.
Who's the head coach?
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Yeah. So this is a massive decision on whether or not the Cowboys are going to be competitive over the next 4 to 5 years or not.
Yeah, and especially
Amen, Kyle.
You've had 4 in the last 4 years. I mean, you just can't. You just can't do that. And this offense is so good, especially if you keep George Pickens and you keep Javonte Williams. That you have to expect a lot of the same next year. I don't see this offense taking a step back. If they do, I don't think it'll be to the point where you can't win games because of it. So, yeah, this is very important. But at the same time, as much as we talk about the coordinator, and that's very important, no doubt, they need better players.
Amen,
They
brother.
just do not have the personnel.
But you can't necessarily go find your personnel without knowing who your leader is on that side.
That's right. But the good news is
One
you have
gets the other.
One, you have the time to get that because it won't take them until free agency to do that.
No, I hope not.
And 2, you get 2 first-round picks in the draft. So whether or not you pick those 2 first-rounders or you trade one of them away, they have an opportunity here to build a much better unit. And, they have the cap flexibility to create some space to sign some more free agents. They were, I think more aggressive than people thought they would be last year in terms of the pure number of signings that they made. And now it's about, quality over quantity, I think.
And there was some risk there too.
Sure.
With the signings that you had, because they're still sort of in that that cap the pie of it all, right? But to your point, it's about making the better decision and finding the right guys and getting the better personnel.
Well, and the goal here is not just to win games. Going back to Tommy's point, you can win games with a substantial improvement on defense, but that's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to be playing this upcoming weekend next year, playing in the NFC title game, have a chance to go to a Super Bowl. All of those things are your goal and what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish. So a complete revamp on defense is possible, but it's got to start with the right leader on that side of the ball. And so this is the most important thing you've got all season long.
Who's captain in the ship?
And you gotta take your time kind of figuring that out. All right, speaking of the defense, and speaking of what we thought of the defense, any other news and notes before we go?
No transactions or anything. So just adding those 3 candidates to the defensive coordinator pot, and we'll see how that goes.
We'll see if they have one by next Tuesday. Maybe that would be fun. When we come back, we're going to continue our grades, our report card series, where we're going to grade the defensive side of the ball. If you missed last week's episode, we went all through the offense, gave our grades. This is probably going to be a little bit more harsh, I would anticipate, when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. More Talking Cowboys right after this.
How's it going? You see that Cowboys game?
Oh, I watched. Been seeing some good things.
Totally. They have some talent.
Yup, some great talent.
And they got some fight.
Hoping this is the year.
Me too. Oh, I'm Cody, by the way.
I'm Travis.
Nice to meet you, Travis. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys!
Make a new friend based solely on their shirt choice. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
Cowboys fans, we've got big news. Black Rifle Energy is now available at Texas 7-Eleven stores. And for a limited time, you can score 2 cans for just $6 at participating locations. These cans pack a serious punch, 200 milligrams of caffeine, veteran-crafted flavor, and the clean energy you need to power through those long days. So the next time you roll into your neighborhood 7-Eleven here in Texas, grab that 2 for $6 Black Rifle Energy deal and fuel up the American way. Black Rifle Coffee, America's coffee.
Every day begins with a promise to work hard and to build a future. That's why we're here, providing the tools, expertise, and John Deere equipment you have relied on for generations to help you get the job done right. We're with you. That's our promise to you, because no matter the project or the challenge you're facing,
We're with you! We're united!
At AT&T, we guarantee our network, so you can talk college football with your BFF while taking Buster to the vet.
Hey, yeah, I can't believe he ate the whole thing of chicken wings.
And I can't believe we're staging a comeback. Touchdown! Yes!
Staying connected matters. That's why in the rare event of a network outage, you'll automatically get a bill credit for a full day's service. For wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers, must be connected to impacted tower at onset of outage. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for full details.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. That's a sweet cup there, Josh.
Oh, yeah, you like that? It's available in Dallas Cowboys Pro Shop.
Is it? Pro Shop. I didn't bring it today, but I got a Black Rifle coffee mug. It's a Yeti with a Cowboys logo on one side, but I'm working on getting it for the whole crew. So
okay.
I'm working on it.
I was about to say, man.
I worked an event, and then they were like, here's the gift. And I was like, well, if you would have known this ahead of time, I would have asked for 5 of them, so that way we have one for everybody.
Say it live on global live stream and then say, shh.
No, but
what is it?
That's just because I can clip this and then send it to them and then try and get this working in the right direction. Yeah. There's thousands of people watching on DallasCowboys.com. That's how it goes. Tens of thousands. I like that.
The millions.
and millions.
Maybe not in the off season, but.
No, seriously.
No, like per year.
Oh, per year, absolutely.
It's in the millions.
But we are in January and.
All right, Kyle.
So it's a little different. But our Talking Cowboys family is who is here.
Pooper.
I'm sorry. All right, let's talk. Speaking of, let's talk about defensive season grades.
Oh God!
Damn.
Let's start positively. Let's start positively.
Okay.
Interior defensive line.
A plus.
A plus.
Yeah. I'll go B minus.
That's the highest grade of anybody you've given so far. Better than the quarterback. Better than the wide receivers. Better than the running backs better than.
You're fair.
I mean, you're giving it an A+.
That's fair.
I know comparatively.
Well, the reason I didn't give the quarterbacks an A+ wasn't because of Dak. It was because you don't know who your backup is. And when you had a chance to look at your backup, albeit later in the season, it didn't look great. All right. So, I mean, Dak could be an A+, but then, I mean, you got like an F behind him. So,
but was the interior perfect?
Post Quinnen, it was sensational, and then it kind of fell, but not because of Quinnen. Yeah. So, you know what? That's fair. Let me go with a B+. And I'll say a B+, looking at the totality of it, being that Quinnen was not here the first half of the season. When he was not here the first half of the season, you needed to see more from Osa, who's coming off of that big contract extension.
Yep.
You didn't necessarily see that. Solomon Thomas, he had a massively hot start. Kind of cooled a little bit, though. Now, that was a little bit due to injury as well, so to be fair to Solly. But it wasn't until – and Kenny Clark came on strong following that trade with Michael Parsons. So, Kenny Clark, I like what he did for the majority of the season. Had a couple of slow patches, but for the most part, Kenny Clark was exceptional in my book. You didn't get much of anything from Jay Thoia. Continues to develop. He was on the inactives list the majority of the season. Perion Winfrey came off IR late in the season, didn't really get any reps. He got, I think, one game activated post-IR return, so didn't really see anything there. So I guess what carries the grade, obviously, is Quinnen post-bye, Kenny Clark all season, Solly the beginning of the season, Osa during a 3-game stretch. Nothing from Thoia, nothing from Winfrey. I'll land at a B+, carried by Quinnen and Kenny.
I'm going with B- because you did have, for a long stretch of this season, you had Mozzie Smith as an inactive player on your roster on game day. To me, that is
a great point.
I mean, obviously, the interior defensive line was not playing well in those weeks, and that's why you needed the help. And, of course, they wanted the help early on. That's why they got Kenny Clark, who did a very serviceable job. I'm not saying he was perfect. I don't even think it was a great year statistically for him, but I think once you added Quinnen Williams, he was able to shine a little more. And, of course, you saw more from Osa as soon as you got Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams is the barometer now for your interior defensive line. That's why I'm at a B-. I don't think it was perfect in all stretches, especially Kenny Clark in that the Panthers game. That was really rough, but it was just an amalgam of things that were against you in that game.
Yeah, you got ran over by Rico Dowdle over and
over again, because they were like, oh, this is what we're going to do, and you could not stop it. But
maybe not even their running back one anymore.
I think there is a different position on
not
this
even there anymore.
Yeah, maybe.
Defense that was able to really bring down the score for everybody else, and we'll talk about that here in a bit. But B- for the interior defensive line.
Okay, I like it.
I'll agree with B-. I think personnel-wise, they're really good, especially now with Quinnen Williams. And, I don't think Osa as your top guy is necessarily the best. So I think now that the Quinnen Williams is there, that certainly will benefit him. Kenny Clark, just being a veteran presence. Solomon Thomas, you hit the nail on the head. I think he started out the year really well. I think he was one of the better run defenders on the defensive tackle room throughout the entire year. But I don't think they generated as much interior pressure as we thought they would. I don't think that they, towards the back half of the season, played the run as well as they did when Quinnen Williams got traded. And I think that some of that is because of the fact that the next levels of the defense didn't necessarily do their jobs very well. But I think that their personnel is there in when it comes to being able to have success in the future. Now it's just kind of building around it. So, yeah, B- for me.
I'm probably splitting the difference. I'd say B. Okay. The same reasons y'all just outlined. You made a trade for one of the top players at the position in the Micah Parsons trade, Kenny Clark. Probably a top 15, top 10 defensive tackle in football right now. Played that way for much of the year, but was he perfect? No. Still room to grow, still room to dive in. And
it was all on him at a certain point.
Exactly. Like, he was the best player on your team at the first half.
Biggest chunk of the season.
Yeah. Then you turn around, you make a trade for a better player at the position in Quinnen Williams. But you needed to make that trade initially in the first place. So it wasn't perfect to begin with. And even post Quinnen Williams, it wasn't perfect afterwards. But I still think a B is very fair. Now, compared to what it was previously, I don't think there's another position that made a monumental jump the same way that one did. Actually, I know there isn't.
No,
because even you look at the other improvements, wide receiver, vast improvement from last year. Running back, vast improvement from last year. there's nothing quite like the jump the defensive tackle took, and it took 2 major trades to get it done. But you're set up, and that's the core of your defense moving forward. So B is good.
It sets up your future as well.
Room to grow. I think Osa could probably be better. We'll see what Solomon Thomas does this offseason and how if he's back and where he goes and that kind of thing. I think there's room to improve there behind those 2 guys, but just having those 2 guys is a huge piece moving forward. Now, defensive end. Moving over a little bit to the edge rusher spot. Tommy, I'll let you start this one. Good radio here.
D.
Wow.
D
okay.
plus, maybe D plus at best. I mean, Jadeveon Clowney at the end of the year was sensational in terms of, where his expectations were. You just kind of wanted him to be a veteran presence, and then he comes out and he's your best pass rusher at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. That should not be the case. All due respect to Jadeveon Clowney. He's a fantastic player. He is unbelievable as an athlete. To be able to still do the things that he does so well this long into his tenure in the league is remarkable. And all the power to him, and the Cowboys should try to bring him back this season. But, you spent a second-round pick on Donovan Ezeraku, who was a monster pass rusher at Boston College, led the country in sacks. And he ends up being a better run defender than he was a pass rusher in his first year. That skill hasn't gone anywhere. He hasn't forgotten how to rush the passer. Is there a part of it that you need to learn how to rush in the NFL? Sure, but he should have been getting after the quarterback more and being taught to get after the quarterback more. I think with the right coaching going forward, and I think Aaron Whitecotton does a good job, and I think he'll continue to do a good job. But with maybe a new voice in terms of a defensive coordinator and new ways to scheme up pressure and get home on the quarterback, I think he can take the next step. Aside from that, James Houston was really cool for a while. He was a great story, showing up on the second day of training camp and led the team in sacks for a majority of the season. But you can't bank on that going forward. If those 3 guys are the guys that we're talking about here and saying, yeah, there's our pass rush unit, you're not going to have a lot of success defensively. I think it starts with making the quarterback uncomfortable. We were talking about Indiana earlier. You want to know why Indiana didn't just roll over Miami yesterday like they had the rest of the college football playoff? It's because Miami was getting pressure on Fernando Mendoza.
Yep.
That's how you win football games on defense. If you can affect the quarterback, if you can make them uncomfortable, it makes everybody's jobs easier in the linebacker room, in the secondary, and the Cowboys did not have a great pass rush this year, and that's why we're sitting here.
Yours was C or D?
He said D plus.
D plus.
D plus. I'm going C minus. For all the reasons you just said. I mean, of course, Jadeveon Clowney was the best pass rusher that you had. I was disappointed with the performance of Dante Fowler throughout the season. He talked about dealing with injuries throughout, but I just don't think that was necessarily what you banked on whenever you signed him for the 1-year deal. And then on top of that, Ezeraku, I expected more of a pass rush from him. Granted, you guys are talking a lot about his run defense, which was, fine, I guess, but I didn't see the big playability from Ezeraku. I hope that changes. I hope with a new defensive coordinator that you are able to find more of a consistency there with his pass rush, the moves that he makes. But this season for me was really disappointing for Ezeraku and the rest of the defensive end.
D minus. D minus.
Almost failing.
Yeah, the only reason, one of the only reasons, obviously, that it's not an F is because Jadeveon Clowney. I mean, like Tommy said so eloquently, I mean, he's a freakish athlete, even at, in his early 30s. I mean, the fact that you can come in with no training camp off of the couch. Yeah, he had a slow start because he had to knock some rust off. But, man, when he got going, did he ever get
December
going? Just unbelievable.
Absolutely.
And he wants to sign early with a team so that he can get a full offseason program. So there you go, Cowboys. Make it happen. But I'm also with Tommy on the aspect of I think we all agree Jadeveon Clowney needs to be back in the building. But it's also true that he cannot be the guy leading the charge. Like, he simply can't be, because if he is, then that means, no knock to him, that means that you have question marks elsewhere. And that's where those question marks get you at a D minus coming out of 2025. You said it, Donovan Ezeraku, ceiling is unbelievably high. Now, whether you put that on him and or Matt Eberflus and trying to, fit him into the DeMarcus Lawrence mode versus the DeMarcus Ware mode after you lose DeMarcus Lawrence, who knows? Whatever the case may be, what we do know is that Donovan Ezeraku, he flat flashed on some occasions, but he didn't develop as quickly last year as we thought he would, coming off of, a nation-leading, record-setting sack season that he had at Boston College.
Yeah.
So you need a lot more from Ezraku. James Houston was great in spots, struggled against the run, though, which is why he struggled to get on the field and stay on the field when it came to coaching decisions, right? So James Houston, I give him a B because this is a guy who was brought in off the couch, and a lot of people thought he was just a camp body. He proved he was much more than that. He made plays in more than one game, okay, in more than one fashion. Jadeveon Clowney covers. Outside of those two guys, the majority of the pressure came from the interior of your defensive line.
Yeah, it did.
Sam Williams was in a contract year.
Yeah, no, that was
Would you get there, right? Dante Fowler, contract year, because 1 year prove-it deal, coming off of a career best season with Dan Quinn and the Washington Commanders. You thought you were getting that Dante Fowler. You, be it injury or coaching, you got a shell of that version of Dante Fowler.
Yep.
You have Jadeveon Clowney, A+.
Yep.
You got Donovan Ezraku.
A+ late.
A+ light.
Late.
Yeah. You got Donovan Ezraku as a C, James Houston as a B, and the rest is FFF. So when you got that many, Fs, for me, it just drags it all the way down to a D.
It's like too many Fs to give.
Yeah.
It's the cumulative GPA average, right? It's like what the schools all try and
for sure
get going.
Yeah. And also to kind of reiterate that point too, again about Dante Fowler, he criticized, and not so in certain terms, the defensive coordinator as well, and not being able to have certain plays that fit the personnel better.
Listen, the bottom line is when Quinnen Williams is traded from the Jets to your team mid-season and immediately over the first 2 or 3 stretches of games has the most sacks of anyone on your defensive line. This is your defensive tackle that just got here. Doesn't know the playbook, doesn't know the scheme, and he's the one generating the most pressure. That's credit to Quinnen for being able to do so, but when you look at the DEs, that is unacceptable.
Yeah. Would you guys believe me? Actually, let me phrase it this way. Which one do you feel like was a lower ranking among the 32 NFL teams for Dallas? Was it quarterback pressure percentage or was it sack percentage?
Sack percentage.
You think it was a lower overall? Do you agree or do you disagree?
What was the first option?
Pressure percentage or sack percentage?
Say lower sack percentage.
Okay.
I'd agree, sack percentage.
It was 26th in the NFL
sack percentage.
Out of 32 teams, sack percentage. The pressure rate was 16th in the NFL. So you did get pressure at times, but and you mentioned it, the key there,
many times.
It was on the interior. But you got to be able to finish, and that's where your edge rushers come in, and that's where you lacked. So I think the stats and the analytics kind of back that up a little bit. We got to move on because we got linebackers, corners, safeties on the other side of the break, and we're going to have to roll through these pretty quickly here. More Talking Cowboys right after this.
At AT&T, we guarantee our network so you can talk college football with your BFF while taking Buster to the vet.
Hey, I can't believe he ate the whole thing of chicken wings.
And I can't believe we're staging a comeback. Touchdown!
Yes!
Staying connected matters. That's why in the rare event of a network outage, you'll automatically get a bill credit for a full day's service. For wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers, must be connected to impacted tower at onset of outage. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for full details.
Cowboys fans, we've got big news. Black Rifle Energy is now available at Texas 7-Eleven stores. And for a limited time, you can score 2 cans for just $6 at participating locations. These cans pack a serious punch, 200 milligrams of caffeine, veteran-crafted flavor, and the clean energy you need to power through those long days. So the next time you roll into your neighborhood 7-Eleven here in Texas, grab that 2 for $6 Black Rifle Energy deal and fuel up the American way. Black Rifle Coffee, America's coffee.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys with Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez.
Hi.
I almost said Isaiah Stanback, but filling in for him, Tommy Yarrish, Chris
pale.
Beam in the back. I'm Kyle Youmans. All right, let's go to linebackers here. This should be pretty consensus. This is not going to be a high grade, right, Pat?
F.
Okay. Do you really need to give a ton of explanation on this?
The only promising aspect was DeMarvion Overshown returned to the field, and
he's going to have a healthy offseason.
Yeah, he's going to have a healthy offseason. He's back. But, I mean, didn't get much from Marist, not entirely on Marist, coaching more than anything. The Jack Sanborn experiment, he held on to that far too long. Kenneth Murray experiment, held on to that far too long. Yeah. The Logan Wilson trade didn't pan out. And it goes on from there. I like Shamar James. I like his potential. He flashed in more than a couple of situations, but then he showed some rookie growing pains as well. I like the upside of Shamar James. I need to see Marist Liufau unleashed in year 3 as he was in year 1, and DeMarvion Overshown is on the upswing with being back from injury. But as far as the 2025 season as a whole, the linebacker core was an F for me.
Yep. F, and the F stands for fundamentally bad. The biggest and most immediate issue that you have is linebacker coverage. There were at times solid tackling, 10, 20 yards down the field. But that's why, for me, at least draft-wise, free agency-wise, that's your most urgent and need over defensive end, over safety, over cornerback. One thing Matt Eberflus had right is that you can scheme pressure, but you cannot scheme around linebackers who can't cover. Fixing linebacker, find you some dogs in free agency, add one stabilizing coverage safety, in my opinion. I think you're going to see an identity change for the Dallas Cowboys defense. But linebacker was your Achilles heel all season long. Bad.
Find you a dog in the draft at linebacker.
Maybe.
His name's C.J. Allen.
Yes, possibly. Or free agency. I don't care.
Sonny Styles.
Go get a solidified dude.
Either one of those
Anthony
guys
Hill.
in the first round, I think I'd be all good.
Yeah.
Anthony Hill Jr., University of Texas. Is Z minus a grade? Can that become one? Is that the lowest one, or F minus?
That was only when Zimmer was here, because you could say it was like Z.
Y minus?
Yeah. Eberflus.
F minus. F. Yeah, it was bad, man.
Eberflunk.
It was really bad.
Sorry, that's probably me.
Wow.
I'll give Matt credit for this. Like, over the course of his career, he has done a really good job of developing linebackers, except for here.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was about here. Maybe it's personnel, maybe it's something different, but for whatever reason, it did not work here. But he does have a good track record of that. He was a linebacker
It
coach
started here, so to speak.
Linebacker coach here. He did that in Indianapolis. He did that in Chicago. Chicago has some really good linebackers, but for whatever reason, it didn't work here. The most jarring thing for me, especially in the run game, was so many times we would see these linebackers engage in blocks and not give any effort to get off of them.
Yeah.
It was like as soon as they got in a block, it was like,
I'm it.
nothing I can do. Yeah.
He tagged me.
See you, Jahmyr Gibbs. It's like, no.
Did it get you there?
It's like you can get off the block, you can go towards the ball and try to make a play. And sometimes it just seemed like they were disinterested. And I don't want to call anybody out here. Obviously, these guys are NFL players.
Yeah.
You never question effort. But it just seemed like they for whatever reason, wouldn't want to get off blocks. And it's going to be tough. Marist Liufau, for what he did in his last year at points when they turned him into a blitzer and he was really good, you didn't see as much of that this year. Shamar James, he made some plays here and there, but is that somebody that you're going to bank on long-term for the future? So this is an area that the Cowboys definitely need to look at in free agency and through the draft, and that's why one of the conversations on the draft show we've been talking about so much is linebacker and the Sonny Styles from Ohio State,
There's some good linebackers in this class
from Georgia, Anthony Hill Jr. from Texas. So it's a position that not only do you need to throw bodies at it, but you need to throw bodies that can get the job done here for you. And then the Logan Wilson trade too. I don't think Logan Wilson's a bad player. I just don't think he can run like he used to.
Well, they threw him into the fold immediately.
Yeah.
And said,
and took him out of the fold.
Get after it. And
then
like,
took him out of the fold.
You didn't play well enough.
Yeah.
Get out of there.
Sanborn, you get out there.
It just all didn't make any sense.
No.
And I'm giving an F to linebackers. And it's funny, I had a conversation with a good friend of mine that works in collegiate athletics, and he grew up in Indianapolis, was a huge Colts fan. And it was right after the news broke. And I was talking with him. He said, yeah, like I could have seen that coming because even at the end of his tenure in Indianapolis, and people forget this, he's like, there was talks that he would not be brought back as the defensive coordinator in Indianapolis, and he failed upward and ended up taking the head coaching job with Chicago. And I was like, this would have been a great conversation to have last offseason when he was hired. Why didn't we have this conversation then? And he kind of chuckled about it. But it ended up working out the way that it did, especially a linebacker where you anticipated development, you anticipated steps forward, and you didn't get it. And that was what I think was most disappointing in terms of the downfall for Eberflus's tenure here in the one season is your linebackers were not good, and that was supposed to be the one area of expertise that was supposed to be good. Now,
arguably horrendous.
It was awful. F all the way around.
Not arguably.
Now, the big thing here is we are running out of time.
Let's fly.
I'm going to combine corners and safeties into just secondary grade. You guys are professionals. We got to get these grades out there. I'm going to let you start here, Pat. What you got?
Second. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Let me say this because I was watching Seattle and I was watching Denver over the weekend, and just looking at their safeties, particularly because I was so high up on drafting a safety in the first round. It's not that the safeties are bad here in Dallas. I just think that they weren't used as just that. They weren't used as safeties. Seattle safeties shined in limited opportunities because their linebackers closed windows early. Denver safeties had strong coverage grades throughout the season because throws never went down the middle against them. They didn't have that luxury because, guess what, guys? Linebackers were pretty darn good for both of those teams.
Yeah.
You didn't have those easy throws over the middle.
Correct.
For me, safeties-wise, F, but I think it's because of the way they were implemented throughout the season. Cornerbacks, C-.
Okay. What you got?
Cornerbacks, C-. Whew.
I think you have room to grow with your cornerback room. I really do.
Safeties, he lost Wanye to migraines. You had a lot of injury there. Malik Hooker before the injury did not look like himself. He looked like himself after the injury, but then it cooled down toward the latter few games. Marquise Bell has some play. I don't know. Safeties, I'm going to give a C-. Overall, you wanted more there. Weren't terrible. Weren't great. Cornerbacks. Reddy Stewart showed some things. Keep Reddy Stewart in the building. Deron Bland injured again. Trevon Diggs fiasco, blah, blah, blah. It's the cornerbacks outside of Reddy Stewart is an F for me. It's an F. So, I mean, you roll those two together. What I give a C- to the safeties, F. So I land on a D for the secondary.
And even when it comes to Stewart, I mean, I know he played significantly, but how much of an impact did he do to bring that grade?
Right, so
I'm just
highlighting him as far as saying that he shows some promise enough to keep him on the team, but not to the point where he was able to carry that grade from an F to a higher grade from the cornerback's perspective. So F for cornerbacks for me, C for the safeties. I land right on a D.
Okay,
literally opposite there.
Yeah, if we're just doing the entire secondary, I'll give it an F. Russell Wilson, J.J. McCarthy, Josh Johnson. I mean, if you're letting these guys throw for some of their best career days on you, it's just not a good year, man. It's really not. I agree with Patrick. I thought Reddy Stewart was a pleasant surprise this year. He was better than I expected him to be.
Put him at safety.
The Deron Bland injury is just brutal. You know, hopefully he's able to recover in time to have some of an off season and get to training camp fully healthy and be able to get back physically there. Obviously, the foot is really scary for, you know, players of that position and especially guys who need to cut and shift so much. And then Savon Revel, what?
No, I'm just messing with that.
Okay.
Not you at all.
I thought I had a pause moment.
No.
You know, the bright spot for me looking ahead for this corner room in the secondary is Savon Revel. That knee brace was really bugging him all year. And, you know, credit the kid for going out there and giving it an effort to go and play. But he needs to get healthy this offseason. He needs to get that brace off of him because you can tell that it just hinders his movement. And he's a step late or he doesn't have the same burst that he did on his tape at East Carolina. I think this kid's going to be a really good player for Dallas' secondary, but he needs to get that brace off first. He's going to have a healthy offseason for the first time in a while, which is good. But, you know, your safeties, I agree with Josh. I don't think they were utilized the right way all the time. You know, when you've got Donovan Wilson in single high safety multiple times, that's just that's just not right, and that's not going after Donovan Wilson. That's just not his. That's not his thing.
That is fundamentally not a good idea.
No, that's a terrible idea. And sure enough, everybody would pick on it. And then Malik Hooker, when he was healthy, he was serviceable for you. I think he's got that veteran presence. I don't think he's a negative player for you.
Wanya
but he's not
limited snaps.
He's not a difference maker for you. And Wanya Thomas, I don't think he's a bad player either, but I don't think he's a difference maker for you. And at the safety position in the NFL now, I think you do need a difference maker to win. In the secondary in general, you just need difference makers. Look at, like you guys mentioned, Seattle. So yeah, it gets
get you a true coverage safety.
Yeah,
that's
Bobby in the chat.
That's all I ask.
Bobby in the chat made a point that I was sitting here thinking while Tommy was regaling us with just beautiful takes. And it was regaling because they were beautiful.
Good job, man. You got a beautiful.
Oh, brother, this guy.
I'm hanging the banner.
He's awesome.
I was sitting here thinking, and I think we can all agree, it looks like not only with the brace, but it just does not look like Savon Revel is mentally confident in that knee yet. It feels like he's overthinking it. It feels like he's overcompensating in his movements. It feels as if that he's still slightly concerned. So I'm glad to see that he will get a full offseason to get healthy and get that confidence built, because his first offseason with the Cowboys was built in rehab, right? So we'll see. But at this point, I agree with Bobby. I don't think he's confident in it yet.
And I think it's because of the brace.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times this season did we see him get taken out of the game to adjust it and fix it and, maneuver it around?
Yeah.
Hell, we saw it in practice.
In practice.
I hate that it's an excuse, but it's part of your. It's an extension of your game, an extension of your body for a certain player.
He didn't.
And
play
if you're not
training
used
camp.
to it, you're
Didn't
not
have a training camp either. Yeah,
he was thrown into the fire early on. So
basically, Savon Revel was the last person he guarded was a Marshall wide receiver.
It was Appalachian State,
and then it's made that. Congratulations, you're going up against CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens in practice. What? I mean, talk about baptism by fire. Like that's a lot to ask from a rookie on one knee.
Get after, dude.
Yeah,
I think he'll show some really good things in 2026. It was just a rough go with the rehab and who he had to kind of hit the ground running, then the knee brace, and he's just not mentally there right now. So full offseason, Savon Revel, sign me up for him being a starter in 26.
There you go. All right, that does it for us here on Talking Cowboys. Hope you had fun today.
What was your grade?
Oh, F, for secondary.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sorry.
Sorry, no, I needed to get in there.
You said it.
I need to hear
I'm
it.
glad you asked me. Yes, F for secondary across the board. It just wasn't good. All right. That is it for us here on Talking Cowboys. Next week, we're going to spend all 45 minutes talking about how Josh won the Pick'em segments this year.
What?
He's going to have the entire episode to be able to brag about that. Also, congrats. We do like celebrating everybody's achievements on this show. Your movie podcast was voted a best podcast of a reputable media source.
Absolutely. Discover Pods. Check it out. There's a movie podcast that I'm on. I will not say it on Cowboys Airways, but follow me. Check it out.
Yeah, that's good
Because
stuff.
the bottom line is there's too many movies.
I mean, that's what people say.
There are definitely too many movies. All right, that does it for us. See you later. For Patrik Walker, for Josh Rodriguez, Tommy Yarrish, Chris Beam in the back, I'm Kyle Youmans saying so long from Talking Cowboys. We'll see you next week.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?